Hello, everyone. Thank you again for taking the time with me. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Stephen Hicks. I am Endsight Security Practice Manager. Today's video is on loss, fraud, and responsibility. Very recently, there was a case in San Diego, Thomas versus the Corbin Restaurant Group. It was a personal injury case, and the defendants lost. They were required to pay Thomas for a personal injury. However, what happened after the case is far more interesting. The defendants were tricked, or at least their counsel was, into sending the payment to the wrong location. They sent $75,000 to a scammer via a wire transfer, and that scammer absconded with the payment. When the plaintiffs contacted the defendants to say, hey, where's our payment? The defendant said, we already sent it. That's when the fraud was discovered. The defendant said, we sent the money. It's not our problem. But the appellate court disagreed. They set precedent for federal and California law in this case. And basically what they said was the defendants should have known that this was a fraudulent wire transfer. There were many different red flags, inoperable phone numbers, changing payment instructions, and a mistyped email address. And if you've been to any of our cybersecurity fundamentals training, we go over what it looks like to have an email address or a domain that's similar, but not exactly the same. It's a very common trick. What the court held was, even though you have already sent the payment, the defendant's counsel was in the best place to prevent this fraud from occurring. They are the ones who had the responsibility to see the malformed email address and to call. Again, if you show up to any of our cybersecurity fundamentals trainings, we talk about multi-channel verification, effectively meaning if something seems weird, pick up the phone and call somebody and verify that the payment was correct. They did call, and the number was inoperable. They didn't get anybody, and they sent the payment anyway. The court said, listen, you were responsible for this. You have to take care of it because you were the one who could have more easily and most logically seen the flaw. We have 3 links down in the bottom of the page for this article. The first one is the Justia case. It's the actual summary of what's going on and the actual text of the case. The second one is an opinion by another firm, basically summarizing this same thing, saying the responsibility lies on the person closest to the fraud. And the third thing is a summary on the imposter rule from Cornell, which is where this case pulls logic from, effectively saying it's not the job of the bank to make sure that the person signing the check is that actual person. It's the job of the issuer of the check to make sure they're not issuing a check to the wrong person. Very similar logic in this case. Why am I talking about this? So the truth is we do have a lot of legal clients at Endsight, but it goes much, much further into general commercial and all other types of venues. In this case, there's precedent now to say that if you could have prevented the fraud, it's your job to have done so. And they did not take due care and they did not perform their due diligence, even though they tried by making a phone call. When that number was inoperable, they should have stopped. At Endsight, we understand this, mostly because layers of protection are very, very important nowadays. One of the things we like to talk about most is that it's no longer possible to simply sell you a product and keep you safe forever. Training really matters. Process really matters. They're frequently higher ROIs and less expensive than the actual technology, which is always required. We say this because this is how Endsight gains trust in the organizations that we represent and how we talk to the market. Effectively, help yourselves by training yourselves, by attending our cybersecurity fundamentals trainings, by making sure your process is right. We actually have a whole house analogy that says nobody would say that one fence keeps you safe. In this case, the technology did not keep the defendant safe and they were liable. It is on you as a business owner or as someone involved in the finance or risk flow of an organization to ensure that your employees have the training they need and the policies in place as well as the required technology to make sure you are fully covering your bases. And the courts say the person closest to the fraud is the person responsible for stopping it and liable if it isn't. Hope this is interesting to you. I hope it's a nice tidbit and it keeps you safer out there. If it's something you'd like to talk more about, please send me an email. I'd love to have a chat about this. All my contact information is always linked below these pages. If you're an Endsight client, reach out to your technical account manager, have a conversation with them, and maybe set up a conversation with me. This is one of the main reasons we say It takes more than one thing. It is a layered security approach now and forever for cybersecurity. In the industry, we call it defense in depth. Hope that was good for you. Until see you next, stay safe out there.